Today we're going to pilot Jon Finkel's 2011 Pro Tour deck in a modern league, with a few small changes, like this card right here. Yeah, it's not legal anymore. But it's kind of crazy, because over a decade later, the decks aren't that different. Spikefield Hazard is a nice addition to help manage a certain metagame threat, and Flame of Venor is a nice value add that just so happens to synergize nicely with our cost-reducing wizards of varying flavors. Let's see if 2011 Modern can hang with the new kids. Alright, let's see if I still know how to storm. Gigantha has been revealed. My opponent's on the play. Opening 7, this looks acceptable, we'll keep this. Opponent leads on a power plant into an expedition map. It's going to be like 2 ships passing in the night. They're on a mulligan to 6. Drawn to a preordain, pretty good. I think we're going to start with a fetch, get ourselves a basic, and a preordain. And I like both of those. Top both. Opponent's turn, they untap. Versus Saga, happy to see it. Back our way. Drawn to the Brawl we knew about. I think this turn I'm going to lead Spikefield Hazard, and then next turn we'll try to get our value out of our Brawl. We still have some time here. Opponent's going to crack their map end of turn, get themselves a tower. Untap, Saga up to 2, tower, nothing else. I wonder if they know what they're playing against yet. Drawn to a Spire Bluff. We're going to play that out. I am a little concerned about a Dismember, so I think I'm going to wait one more turn again. And because I have 7 cards in my hand, I'm not going to put Gigantha into my hand. Create a construct, untap, Saga up to 3, imagine it's going to find another map. They add a mana, there's the map. Sphere, crack the sphere, add a green, Sylvan Scrying. There's the power plant. Tron is online, or not. They got a second power plant for some reason. I guess it's not online. I rescinded my previous comment. No attack with the construct. They're messing up all over the place. We're going to cast Flame, and I'm just going to draw 2 cards. Drawn to 2 more lands. Not great. Untap. Drawn to a Consider. Let's start with a land and a Brawl. Play out this Manamorphose. We'll add 2 mana. Appears my opponent has a Dismember. I wasn't sure if I was going to go off this turn, which is why I sequenced it this way. We'll add blue and red. Drew into a Past in Flames. I'm going to cast Flame, and we're going to destroy the map. Opponent with a 4th land. No Tron. 4 mana for a ring. Trigger. Attack for 2, down to 17. Draw a card, back our way. Manamorphose was the draw for turn, not bad. I think we're just going to put Gigantha to hand, play out a Spire Bluff, and pass the turn back. 1 ring triggers, opponent draws 2, 7 cards in hand. Alright, they hit their Tron. 10 mana. There's a Karn, they get a Stone Brain. So we're going to have to do this the hard way. 2 mana, opponent casts Stone Brain, they crack it, targeting me, and they name Past in Flames. Drawn to a Brawl. Play out a Relic, sure. Interesting, they name Past in Flames with that in their hand. And in Ancient Stirrings, reveal a Worm Coil. Attack for 3. We're down to 14. And I didn't cast the Consider because of my Storm count. Drawing into Graveshot was excellent. So let's start with the Brawl. Best draws from this point are probably Remand. We'll consider. Another Brawl. Put that in our graveyard. Drawn to an Electromancer. 2 mana. Manamorphose. Add a red and a blue. Don't know if that's going to be good enough. Unfortunately, I think we're just going to have to pass. We'll play out the Steam Vents tapped, exile a Misty. Ring puts them down to 13, draw 3, another Tron land, Karn minus. Suppose they can get the Stone Brain again, name Grapeshot, and then they just win. And they get Cityscape Leveler instead. Leveler's fine. Hit the Brawl, sure. Opponent cracks the Relic, Expedition map, Oblivion Stone. Still haven't lost here. Opponent attacks for 5. We're down to 9. I think Cantrip into Remand wins the game. Alright, we drew the Remand. Might be good enough. Electromancer. Hybridic Ritual. Going to need to draw into something, but we have a shot. Great Shot for 4. Remand Grape Shot. Wow, we got there. Opponent's down to 10. Grape Shot for 5. Grape Shot for 6. And Grape Shot for 7. Are you not entertained? So good. Alright. Opponent gets punished. Up a game. This match ended in an anticlimactic fashion as my opponent disconnected and timed out in the middle of Game 3. Let's move on to Match 2 and see how Finkel's deck fares against a more interactive archetype. Moving on to Match 2, let's reveal our Gigantha. I think our 7 looks pretty good, we'll keep this. We're going to be on the draw. Opponent with a basic Swamp, Thoughtseize, problematic. Brawl is gone. Drew into another land, not really what we're looking for. We'll play out our Steam Vents tapped, pass turn. Opponent with a Demolition Field, so we're playing against Mono Black. Drew into a Preordain. And our opponent could have a Bowmaster here, so we're going to play around that. We'll play our Preordain. Electromancer and Hazard. We'll take the Electromancer, and we'll put the Hazard on the bottom. In return, my opponent with a Cling to Dust. Surprisingly good against our deck. They draw a card. Urborg, back our way. Draw into another ritual. We're going to play out our Polluted Delta. We'll put Gigantha to our hand. Pass the turn back. Opponent with another Cling to Dust, they draw another card. They have a Coffers, 5 mana available. I lied, a Shieldred, pretty good. Alright, we draw into a Baral. Play out our Scalding Tarn, and we're just going to pass turn one more time. Opponent gains 2 life off their Shieldred. Plays a Swamp, attacks for 4, puts us down to 14. Opponent with a Karn, 3 mana available. Minus Karn, we get a Tormod's Crypt. Play out the Crypt, back our way. End of turn, we're going to fetch. We'll get a Steam Vents, back to my turn. Draw another land. Not good. We're going to play out the Polluted Delta. We're going to fetch, get a basic island. Play out Baral, Manamorphose. Opponent's tapping 2 mana for a Shieldred's Edict. I think we're going to respond with a Pyretic Ritual here. We'll add red and blue. We draw into another Electromancer. And this isn't going to be good enough. Our opponent can just get a Ballista and kill us. We'll scoop it up. Sideboarding, I'm going to bring in 3 Empty the Warrens. I'm going to cut a Baral, an Electromancer, and a Grape Shot. We'll take the play. This 7, I think, is lacking too much business. We're going to have to mulligan. I like this 6, much better. We're going to keep and bottom the Otawara. Spikefield Hazard tapped, and we'll pass turn. Opponent with a basic Swamp, back our way. And we draw Preordain for turn. We'll play at a Delta, and we'll just pass turn. During the upkeep, we're actually going to fetch. I want to get a Steam Vents, but I don't want to telegraph what's in my hand, so I'm going to get an island. Opponent with an Urborg. Unfortunately, we don't want to let Bowmaster resolve, but we do have to do something, because if we remand a Bowmaster, they'll just recast it on their turn. So we're going to consider now Flame of Anor, put that into our graveyard. Draw into an Electromancer. Draw for turn. Gifts, not bad. We're going to fire off this Preordain now. Here's the Bowmaster. We're down to 18, and I think we like both of those. We'll put them both on top. We're going to go down to 17. We're on a quick clock here. Play out the Spire Bluff, and we'll pass turn. Put them with a Demolition Field. The attack for 3, down to 14. Back our way. Draw into the Pyretic. We actually need one more land for this hand to work, so we're just going to pass it back. We're a Manamorphose. Opponent untaps. Plays out of Coffers. Opponent with attack for 3. We're going down to 11. End of turn, Pyretic Ritual. We're going to cast our gifts, targeting our opponent. Choose Manamorphose, Past in Flames, Desperate Ritual, and Pyretic Ritual. Okay, they give us the Morphos and the Past in Flames. Draw into a land. It's what we were looking for. They have 6 cards in hand, a ton of mana. We'll shock out this Steam Vents. Blue, Electromancer. Cast a Desperate Ritual. Opponent's paying costs, Fatal Push. We're going to remand this just to draw a card. I think we're probably just dead though. Opponent adds a bunch of mana, and they march for 3. They were going to get their Fatal Push back, so I don't know that they needed to do that, but that's fine. Remand the Fatal Push, take 1 off the Bowmaster, go down to 8, 3 mana in pool. Fortunately, we don't have a way to go off this turn, so we'll just pass it back. Opponent with a Field of Ruin, attack for 4, we're going down to 4 life. Back our way. Draw into a Desperate Ritual, actually a really good draw. We're going to play out our Misty. We're going to start with that Desperate Ritual. I'm going to hold this Manamorphose for the time being. We're going to play out a Past in Flames. Past in Flames resolves. We're going to Desperate Ritual again, Pyretic Ritual, Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, blue, blue. We're going to take 1 off the Bowmaster. Maybe we have to set up for next turn. Gifts Ungiven. Okay, I think we're going to choose Grape Shot, Manamorphose, Pyretic Ritual, and Spikefield Hazard. Okay, they give us the Spikefield Hazard and the Manamorphose. We're going to Flame of Anor, hit down the Orc Army. End of turn, opponent with a Field of Ruin, put an island into play. Another Field of Ruin, another island into play. Play another Demolition Field, attack for 1, knock down our Hazard. We do not have any red sources we can fetch for. And we cannot cast anything. We're going to die. We'll scoop it up. 1-1. This is our 3rd match. Reveal that Gigantha. Unfortunately, can't keep this one. We're going to mulligan. And can't keep our 6 either. 5 is acceptable. A little slow. We'll keep it though. And we're going to bottom Pyretic Ritual. Give it our best shot. Misty Rainforest. I should just scoop here. Opponent reveals a living end, but they've already seen my hand because I auto-yielded. We're going to concede the game. Let's move to game 2. Feels like our deck should be good against this deck. We're going to bring in 4 Flusterstorm, 2 Empty the Warrens. We're going to board out 2 Gifts and 4 Flame of Anor. Okay, game 2, we'll take the play. Reveal our Gigantha. Let's try this again. And I think we can keep this. We'll start with our Steam Vents tapped. Opponent with a Breeding Pool, shock, bank our way. Draw into a Remand, also pretty good. We're going to play out our Baral. Opponent cycles Generous Ent, gets a Breeding Pool. Breeding Pool, shock, back to us. Draw 2nd Empty the Warrens, pretty bad. Kraken for 1. Opponent's down to 15. Striped Riverwinder, cycle. Curator of Mysteries. Stomping Ground shock from my opponent. Looks like they want to add to our storm count. Untap. Draw into a Consider. Could have an Endurance, so we're not going to attack here. I think we're just going to pass the turn. Opponent cycles a Waker. Charlotte's Agent to the graveyard. Cycle a Curator. Opponent cycles an Oliphant. Lots of cycling going on here. Steam Vents. Grief. Exile a Living End. I think I'm going to remand this. My opponent with a Force Negation. And I'm actually going to Flusterstorm this, just because the Brawl will allow me to cycle. Brawl, draw a card, discard, empty the Warrens, remand, we'll draw a card, and we'll get rid of this Otawara. We draw into a Spike Field Hazard. I think we're going to start with a Consider. Put that to the graveyard, another Spike Field Hazard. Play out Steam Vents, we'll shock, move to combat, swing for 1, and we're going to pass back again. I know my opponent has a Grief in hand. I don't think they have another black card though. They cycle a Generous Ent, get a basic Forest, 3 mana for a Charlotte's Agent. Living End, we'll Flusterstorm. Same targets, cycle with Brawl, that's a good one. We'll get rid of this, empty the Warrens, back our way. Draw into a land, that doesn't do anything. Store the Preordain, we'll bottom. We draw into an island, we'll play out a Spire Bluff Canal, and we're just gonna pass it back. Okay, my opponent with another Shardless, they're gonna get this one off. They have an army of creatures on the battlefield. Back our way. Okay, Past in Flames was a good draw. Is it good enough though? I don't know. I'm gonna start with a Desperate Ritual. Cast Past in Flames. My opponent has a Force Negation. That's going to do it, I believe. We'll scoop it up. 1 and 2. All right, a few losses, but we're gonna bounce back. Let's reveal our Gigantha. Can't win a die roll. Opening 7. Good if we draw a land, so I think we're gonna keep it. Opponent with a basic Forest. Chromatic Sphere. It looks like Tron again. Draw a Manamorphose. Start with our island. Preordain. Hazard is a land. It's a slow one though. I think we're gonna top and hope this is good enough. But with Ancient Stirrings, finds their mine, plays a Saga into a second sphere. They're giving us a lot of time here. Play our Spikefield Cave, pass turn back. Saga to 2. There's the mine we knew about, back our way. So really hoping for a land there. I think we're okay with this nonetheless. So if our opponent doesn't have any removal, we could potentially win from this position. I think we're gonna try, let's start with a Pyretic Ritual into a Manamorphose. We'll add blue and red. Really would have liked a land there. Play out this Brawl into a Desperate Ritual. Okay, we're in business. Manamorphose, blue and red. There's a land, not the one we're looking for though. Past in Flames. Opponent draws a card with their sphere, draws another card, makes a construct. Sure. Past in Flames resolves. Desperate Ritual, Pyretic Ritual. Manamorphose, we'll add blue. There's another ritual, that's good. Let's Consider. And I think Remand should do it. Put Remand on top. Desperate Ritual, Grape Shot targeting them. We're gonna Remand the Grape Shot. Brawl is gonna trigger. Okay, opponent scoops. We're up a game. Okay, on the draw, we're gonna bring in Blood Moons and an empty, boarding out a Brawl, Spikefield Hazard, and 2 Flames. Gigantha has been revealed. Once again, we're lacking lands. If we can find a land, this hand's great though. On the draw, I think we're gonna give this a try. Opponent with a Power Plant, into a Relic, into a Tormod's Crypt. Okay, little redundancy. Draw into a second Gifts, really bad. Island and pass the turn. Opponent plays out a Sphere, and they have no second land. Okay. Draw a Ritual, can't cast anything. We'll pass turn, we'll discard a Gifts. Opponent cracks their Sphere, casts a Stirrings, reveals a basic Forest, plays it, and an Expedition map. Relic our Gifts, back our way. We draw our second land, excellent, we'll shock that in. And I'm gonna play out this Brawl now. I am exposing it. I think this is the move. Urza's Mine, Talisman. All right, Brawl survives. Draw into a Spire Bluff. Let's start with that. We're gonna play a Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose. We'll add blue and red. We drew another ritual, not terrible. We're gonna cast Flame of Anor, draw 2, destroy target artifact. I'll draw 2. Let's destroy the Expedition map. Okay, opponent cracks their map, get themselves a tower. Draw into a Manamorphose and a second Grape Shot. Blue mana, Gifts Ungiven. We're gonna get a Past in Flames, Manamorphose, Flame of Anor, and a Remand. Opponent gives us the Past in Flames and the Manamorphose. Cast a Manamorphose, red and blue. Draw into another Brawl. I'm gonna cast Past in Flames. Opponent cracks their Tormod's Crypt. Suppose they can still activate this Relic. We'll cast a Pyretic Ritual, cast a Manamorphose, blue and red. Cast a Consider, put Spikefield Hazard to the graveyard. Past in Flames resolves, Ritual, Morphos, blue, Consider, to the graveyard, Grape Shot, it's gonna be for 14. Grape Shot number 2 for 14, and that does it, 2 and 2. For our fifth and final match, we get paired against a very unusual deck, which had me at a loss for words at the end of the match. Stick around and you'll see what I'm talking about. We're going to fast forward to the final game. Game 3, reveal our Gigantha. 7 has a ton of cantrips. Opponent keeps their 7, I think we're going to keep ours as well. We start with a Spire Bluff Canal, nothing else. We draw into a second land, actually not bad. We'll lead on our Polluted Delta. I'm actually going to fetch now. I'm going to shock in a Steam Vents, and we're going to preordain. I like the Hazard. I don't love the Grape Shot. Put Hazard into our hand. Opponent with a Fiery Islet, back our way. Draw into a Brawl, which is nice. Going to lead on another Preordain. Okay, maybe to play around the Spell Stutter, I should have led on the island and preordained with the island to be able to spike field down the Spell Stutter. Preordain's going to get countered. Play on an island, and we'll preordain again. 2 remands. I'm going to keep 1 and put the other on the bottom. Opponent with a land tapped, attack for 1, going down to 16. Untap. Draw into a Misty. Pretty happy about that. We'll play that out. We're going to pass it back. Opponent attacks for 1, we'll go down to 15. End of turn, we're going to fetch, Steam Vents, play a Consider, Pyretic Ritual. I think we're okay with that. And draw another land. Play our land, pass it back. Opponent with attack for 1, go down to 13. Land tapped, we'll fetch end of turn, get a snow-covered island. We draw into an Otawara. Play out Otawara, and we're going to wait. Opponent with an attack for 1, down to 11. All right, we draw a second Brawl, which kind of opens up the window a little bit. So we'll play that out. Opponent with a Stern Scolding. I think we're okay with that. Play a Sulphur Falls, attack for 1, going down to 10. All right, that's a business spell. I'm going to lead on my Brawl again. Opponent with another Stern Scolding. Going to remand my Brawl. Opponent with a Snapcaster Mage. Sure. Target a Stern Scolding, and Brawl get countered. I'm going to fire off a bolt on the Spell Stutter Skite right now, just in case they have another one. My opponent with a Force of Negation. Wow. Discarding Snapcaster Mage. Sure. By all means. They have 3 cards in hand. Start by drawing a card. Play a land. 3 cards in hand. Attack for 3. Okay, we draw into another Ritual. Let's start with a Manamorphose. My opponent with a counter spell. During my opponent's upkeep, I'm going to Spike Field Hazard their Spell Stutter, and they counter it. They really value that Spell Stutter sprite. They attack me for 3, I'm going down to 4. We draw into a Flusterstorm, which if one of their last cards is another Spell Stutter sprite, doesn't help us. We'll cast a Pyretic Ritual, a Desperate Ritual, a Past in Flames. Past in Flames resolves. We'll Pyretic Ritual again, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose. We're going to add 2 blue. Draw into a Scalding Tarn. That's not going to do anything for us. Let's preordain. Bolt and a Past in Flames. Put the flames on the bottom, on top. Let's preordain again. Flusterstorm on the bottom, Morphos on top, and Spike Field Hazard, targeting Snapcaster Mage, Lightning Bolt, targeting Spell Stutter Sprite, preordain, bottom and top. And we could fetch another land. We have another basic island in the deck. We could fetch it and Consider, but if they have a Lightning Bolt, we just die. So for that reason, I am not going to do that. Opponent's turn. Burst Lightning. What the f